T-Rex hitting the snooze on his alarm. He's not getting up. It's a Monday morning. He says, just give me a few more minutes. It's kind of chilly outside. Matter of fact, it is. Lows in the 40s and 50s. Temperature inside the house down to 60 degrees. Come on, it's September. It's what it's supposed to do. But we're in a very warm air mass. Just so happens the air mass decoupled last night. Cold air is more dense than warm, with a clear sky and that beautiful big moon. The cooler air settled into the lower elevations while it's warmest up on top of the mountains this morning. What do we have for a temperature out on this thermometer? That says about 55 degrees. I just woke up a dog. Birds are singing. I'm using my iPhone microphone, which often is not consistent. Look at the water on the forsythia. So even though we're parched at night, at least there's some dew to help moisten the ground a little bit. Other than that, what's this about the third or fourth week in a row without any substantial widespread rain? And that's not going to change too much over the next couple of days. There's a little stratocumulus over Bass River this morning. That's when the temperature cools to the dew point. That's the low kind of fog cloud. The temperature map shows 46 degrees this morning in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and Falmouth, a couple of the coolest spots right underneath the center of the high pressure system. And even if you look at Mount Washington, the coolest air is at the base of the Otto Road, upper 40s, and then it's in the 50s. Not quite as warm as it was yesterday, but that's the top of the inversion. And as the sun goes to work, it mixes out the inversion, and we're going to have another day pretty close to 80 degrees in a lot of spots. What kind of bird is that? So gorgeous. Mid-September weather goes on. The question is, are we going to be able to see the moon tonight and tomorrow night as it comes up? I tried to get a shot of it, looking up in that direction yesterday at about 9 o'clock. I don't have professional camera equipment, but it was gorgeous. What an evening. And I think that we're going to stay mostly cloud-free again tonight. And then tomorrow night is the partial eclipse with the blood moon possible. I think most of New England is still mostly in the clear sky, but clouds are going to be right on our doorstep. Here's the satellite imagery this morning. Shows the fog in spots, and then the northern edge of some clouds that potential tropical cyclone 8 is generating. That would be over North Carolina. More on that in a minute. Got some verification on the forecast. Maureen and Dan Bach did make the sail across Nantucket Sound over the weekend, and he said just enough wind to put up the sails, but also used a little motor assistance to get into Nantucket Harbor and share this sunrise shot this morning. Thank you, Dan. Beautiful morning throughout all of New England. Want to see a state of the foliage in Vermont? Got this webcam image just before 7 a.m., Mount Mansfield. And hints of color coming on everywhere you go in New England. People are asking, how's this weather going to affect the foliage? Well, I think the fact that we had such cool nights and such abundant rainfall over the summer and this dry weather, it's going to be spectacular. I mean, I don't think there's ever such thing as a bad foliage year in New England, but this year I think it's going to be above average. That's my forecast there. Forecasts are challenging. Remember the forecast that there were going to be 23 named storms in the Atlantic Ocean this summer? Well, we have potential tropical cyclone 8. I want to take a look. And the reason it's potential tropical cyclone is because it's still got a cold core. It's just a fairly weak wave of low pressure on a cold front. But the fact that there's such strong high pressure to the north, it is generating a lot of wind. You can see the center of the circulation is kind of disorganized just off the coast of Wilmington, North Carolina. And here is the analysis of the surface temperature and wind, with the red numbers being wind gusts also at 7 a.m. this morning. So some of those buoys out there are reporting winds gusting past 50 miles an hour. So the ocean is churned up, and so tropical storm warnings are in effect on the coast of North Carolina. It's a slow-moving system, and again, that wind has almost as much to do with the high-pressure system over New England. It's a 1028 high-pressure system here. And we all know wind is air moving from high to low pressure. And this high doesn't really want to go anywhere. and that front's been stalled for weeks. And remember, 10 days ago, we showed the Euro with a 10.06 low pressure system over North Carolina for Monday, September 16th. And there it is. What an incredible verification. Even though it's probably not what we thought it might be. We thought it might have been one of those tropical systems coming across Africa. And no, this is not Francine either. Francine decayed. This is energy perhaps shed from Francine and hooked up on the front. And so it's low pressure on the front, and that front's going to slowly move toward the north. But it's actually, been talking about this for a long time, this warm front to our south. I don't know if it's ever going to make it in. And even though we're so warm, our dew points are low. So it's not technically that we're in a really warm air mass. That's more of a humid front down there. Intermission. Let's check out the pumpkins. Leaves die. That's pretty normal. And to get a new baby pumpkin over here somewhere, right there. It has a chance, I would say. And I didn't even notice that one over there, hanging down from the rhododendron. When you get a pumpkin vine to go up in a tree or something like that, you get a rounder pumpkin. So you get a round pumpkin. It's pumpkin season. And the fairs and festivals are going on. I didn't make the Harwich Cranberry Festival, but there are plenty more fairs and festivals. And the weather looks good for at least the next couple days. Boston 5-day. Shows a couple more days of sunshine with a light onshore flow, temperature close to 80 degrees, warmer inland, pretty close to record warm temperatures, but not quite. And then the clouds come in on Wednesday and Thursday. So that leaves tomorrow night right on the edge of the clouds for the moon viewing. There's so much to talk about. Those devastating floods in Austria. My friend out there, Jörg Gackelmann, he's one of the meteorologists that was trying to sound the alarm last week, but a lot of people weren't listening, and that's really weird to me. The fact that there was a great forecast for more than a foot of rain, and it verified. And he says, thankfully, the snow level was low enough that wasn't all rain, because if it wasn't snow in the tops of those mountains, the disaster in Poland and Austria would have been even worse. So that was 300 centimeters of rain. So I'm going to go right to the QPF rainfall forecasts. I mean millimeters. So 25 millimeters equals an inch of rain. And here is the rainfall forecast for the northern edge of what's going to become perhaps tropical storm Helene. And that will decay, and a new low is going to form, and then another new low is going to form, and they're all going to ripple off south of New England over the next 10 days. And by the time day 10 arrives, the gold is more than 5 inches. The yellow is right at 5 inches. And I put the cursor out over the ocean, and it's 350 millimeters. And that's more than a foot of rain. And then if I put the cursor over around New York City, southwestern Connecticut, that's 147 millimeters. And that is close to 5.8 inches of rain are in the forecast now for the south coast of Connecticut over the next 10 days. And this is going to be a moving target. I want to show it in another perspective. I want to show you the wind field, where the wind there from the east-northeast, very light over New England for now, strongest to our south. Gradually, as this high recedes just a little bit that's over us and the lows advance to the north, even though they're not strong lows, you see one coming up and kind of shedding and breaking off and going to the right there, south and east out of Nantucket. And then late in the week here, the wind's getting even stronger. The purple is gusts over, well, that's sustained actually, 20 to 25 knots. But day after day of this may warrant some coastal flood advisories, and certainly waves are going to get bigger and bigger. And then another low comes up, and now a new high-pressure system's coming into New England over Saturday and Sunday. Another kind of Friday backdoor front. We've been talking about those, fairly weak, but as long as that high-pressure system stays over southeastern Canada and New England, and those lows get closer to us, our winds are going to increase. So while inland, and say from Concord, New Hampshire points north, you're not going to notice anything going on, from Cape Cod to Long Island, it's going to get fairly stormy and stay that way all the way to day 10. That's next Wednesday. Still looking almost like this Wednesday, with low pressure to our south and high pressure to our north and an onshore flow. So sailors, take warning. Seas are going to be churning up. And you noticed in that QPF forecast, there was nothing north of, say, Manchester, New Hampshire. Now that's subject to change. There's one model out there called the Australian Access G that's printing out more than 7.5 inches of rain in Boston by this Friday. GFS says 0.9 and the Euro says 0.45. So something's gonna happen. And we get the full blood harvest moon. What makes the harvest moon so special even without the eclipse and such is the fact that it comes up less than 50 minutes later each day. Most moons come up 50 minutes or more later each day, so it's a slower evolution of your moon. It lingers longer in our sky, which we're really looking forward to, and hopefully where you are, you'll be able to see that moon rise. Yesterday around here we did some work, not much work, not a lot of work. What did we do? We watched, the baby came up. Oh yes, that's right. Mackenzie Rose visited while we watched the beginning of the Patriots game. Looked pretty good at the beginning, didn't it? That's right. It's always fun to see the baby and the family up in town. So Matt, and Beth, Mackenzie Rose, thanks for visiting. And then Patriots, I turned them off and I heard it didn't come out that well, although it was a good game at the end, I think. And we went to Mayflower Beach, where it was beautiful, and there were a lot of people, and there were actually 2 weddings. The Dennis police showed up and did a great job graciously handling the crowds, now that you don't need a sticker anymore, and the dogs are allowed. It was kind of a free-for-all. And 2 weddings at the beach yesterday. Congratulations, wedding parties. And we're standing out there in 80-degree weather with their suits and gowns. That was pretty fun. All right, that's our and more. The weather's over. Here's the and more from yesterday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, look at that.
We've got a touchdown. We've got babies and puppies and mummies and daddies and doggies and touchdowns. Look at T-Rex wants to say hello.
Touchdown.
Oh,
Matthew? This is Mackenzie.
that's right. His name is Polka.
Say hi.
Wow.
Mackenzie, over here, look.
He was watching the Patriots
Hey,
win.
Bob. Kenzie.
I got some pictures. I got some pictures. Now I'm making a video.
Kenzie. So smiley.
Oh my god. What I was gonna say, where are we?
She likes dogs. It's kind of scary.
She'll like grab our dog's collar and try to put him in her mouth.
Yeah.
Like he's like a chew.
Postseason, Mayflower Beach. Well, it's September 15th, really postseason. It's packed. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a wedding on the beach. Are dogs allowed? Parked next to this Tonka truck. What's that, Rex? What kind of truck is that? Michael J. Fox in there? Wow, is it really a Sunday after Labor Day? It's crowded. Am I supposed to be quiet now?
Yeah, there's a wedding going on.
There's a what? A wedding?
And everyone's
On the
quiet.
beach.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be quiet? I don't think that's necessary. If they want to quiet.
Cold from this day forward.
Like bad Mike. Oh well. Maybe. I think this is the Gilbert wedding, and we have another backup wedding just in case this one doesn't work out. We've got a whole other wedding set up. All good. What is wind? Air moving from behind me to in front of me. It's called the sea breeze. The land heating up, causing a meso low pressure, and the water is pretty chilly, causing a meso high pressure. And look at all these men in suits. Just after 3, Sunday, September 15th, on the north side of Cape Cod. Not a cloud in the sky. The beach is pretty crowded, and we have dueling
matrimony. 2 weddings on the beach this afternoon. Check out the seating. I love it. That's gonna be great. Big neighborhood party was last weekend. I think the tune is right there with Carol Ann. Should we go out there? .30. Dogs at the beach. Awesome. There's a drone above that wedding. Somewhat of a smoky sky, but just brilliant Sunday. Just heard a drone. There's flybys happening. There's a jet flying by the sun. There's a drone flying over the wedding. There's a sea breeze that's going to diminish. And we're going to just wrap up out the door, weather and more, from Mayflower Beach again. Or hopefully, we can do this again next weekend. Maybe the next weekend after that. Weddings and all. Talk to you tomorrow.